hunting country western bars in Texas and you wanted to do it stealthily, by definition, wouldn't you need a ghillie suit? Greetings, good evening, it's good to see you. How are you all this evening? And of course, without a doubt, it's good to be seen by you. I, of course, am the Dungeon Delver host, and I hope you're all having a positively wonderful Thursday evening. I am hot. I am stinking hot. I am stinking and I am hot because I have been out in the garage, if you will, working on 3D printing stuff, and I've been standing next to a concrete wall, which the afternoon sun shines directly on, and there's no air conditioning out there. So it's a little toasty out there. Yes, Dungeon Minister, I'm back over here. But anyway, so yeah, I've just been sitting back having a lot of fun doing stuff like that. I'm still not Dungeon Ministers. You can see you're new here. But anyway, I'm still not 100% satisfied with the setup here. I want a taller chair, and I want some things. I want art for over here and on the patch of concrete wall behind me over here. To, I guess, if you're watching this, that's your left in the corner there. But anyway, we are, according to the big clock on the wall, up a few subscribers. So thank you, you folks who have subscribed. And thank you, Alejandro. I greatly appreciate it. But anyway, so that's what I have been doing most of the afternoon and evening, is working on 3D printing. And Orbital Air was saying he got to where he hates it. No, I love it. I love it because cool stuff comes out the other side. Plus, I have paid for the 3D printers, the first 3D printer many times over, and the job I'm doing now will pay for it many times over, and I'm very happy about that. Greetings, Jack Photon. That's right, it is Apollo 11th day. On this day in history, July of 1969. Nice. We have the Eagle has landed on the moon. On the moon. Good Lord. I know it's bad form for me to drink, but my stomach was on fire. I decided for dinner, I was like, I'm going to make myself an omelet. Oh, I have some tomato medley, which is green peppers, tomato, and white onion, all chopped up. I'll just put a little bit of that in there. And, I had my omelet mixings and everything like that. I'm like, gently shake out. And it just, all of it just, boom, just right into the egg mixtures. I was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. Not fine. I mean, it was tasty. It was damn delicious. LHRPG, good to see you. So anyway, yeah, I got something to settle the stomach with. I've got to. So pardon me for drinking in front of you all. I'd be having a beer right now, except I have more 3D printing to do, and that won't help with my thirst, and it certainly won't help with my stomach. So here's a cool thing. You won't see it yet. If you go over to the YouTube channel, you won't see this. So I'm telling you about this. But YouTube memberships are in the process of being set up. I don't just mean set up in the sense of, well, it's an idea I have. I mean, I've gone through, I pushed everything through. It's been approved. I have to, for those of you who become members, or perhaps for those of you who already are members, there will be custom icons you can use in the chat as you are the chat, and so on and etc. And I've got to set up those. I've got to give you guys icons to use and emotes and stuff like that. Things I can't see because I'm on StreamYard and not directly in the Google chat. But you can see them and you'll be able to enjoy them. And there'll be little perks and freebies. But the main reason I'm doing it, the main reason I'm doing that is every month, starting in August, every month, you will receive a mini, that means short, that means a few number of encounters. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons first edition adventure module penned by yours truly. To use as your table. Now, I put a poll onto Twitter, which sounds obscene, and God knows I've seen lots of stuff on Twitter that is, but I put a poll up on Twitter and I said, what is your favorite level range in first edition AD&D? Because I gotta clarify. Because if I say, what's your favorite level range in D&D? I'll have the 5e people saying, I like the adventure path for Curse of Strahd. I'm like, I know, I don't care. Bless your heart, but I don't. Or you BECEMIMOUSE malcontents in there, I like second or fourth, and that's not even a choice. So I said, in first edition AD&D, what is your favorite range of adventures? The response on Twitter was interesting because it was 4 to 7, 4th to 7th level. And I think a lot of people are like, yeah, okay, there's 4 4th level characters. Let's send them into this module for 4th to 7th. Nope. Doesn't work like that. But, so 4th to 7th seemed to be everybody's favorite. And then I asked over on the tube of you, and the last time I looked, by far, it was 1st through 3rd. Now, let me be just absolutely as crystal clear as I can. Or Crystal Gale if you like 70s pop country. But let me be as crystal clear as I can. This is not going to dictate the tone in terms of level of the modules going forward. So it's not 4th to 7th from here on out, or even 1st to 3rd from here on out. I literally just want to know for the first module. Now, the interesting thing about Twitter is after Twitter, after the poll expired on Twitter, which I left it up for 24 hours, which I suppose I could have and should have left it up for longer, but I had a grand total of 28 votes on it. In just a couple of hours on YouTube, I had 18. But I am going to concatenate all of the votes. Now, I specified that this was for Patreon, for Subscribe Star, and soon to be for YouTube memberships. So like, I'm not subscribed to your channel. I don't know who you are. I'm just some drive-by rando. I like 15th level adventures. If someone said that, it just gets thrown right out, right? That doesn't even factor. But it's literally just the first one. The next one, I'm going to go with what takes my fancy. You might get a 9th through 14th level adventure. Might have a horrible tomb. Might have a big open mouth green devil face with a free ice cream sign on it. You don't know. But the first one, the inaugural one, I wanted to know what you guys would like, and I would like you to feedback on that, by which I mean vote, maybe leave a comment. Which one of you left the comment that's like, I voted 1st through 3rd so I can convert it to basic D&D? Get out of here. I'm just kidding with you. You do what you want to it. Convert it to Morkborg, which I'm told that because it's Swedish and there's umlauts everywhere, that it's actually pronounced Mark Berenstein is the correct pronunciation of that. But here's the thing. I think Dungeons and Dragons, particularly advanced Dungeons and Dragons, should be an aspirational game. I don't buy into the model that the game just like after 5th edition, after 5th level or 6th level or 7th level, that the game's just not fun anymore. I've had loads of fun with high-level characters because, all you need is a red and yellow S on your chest. And low-level games where it's like, we totally killed 3 rats and only lost 2 party members in the process. We kick ass. It's fun across the board, guys. It's fun across the board. And, a magic user can just do blah, blah, blah. I think a lot of that pushback comes from other editions, And here I'm gonna get on this rant again, and I'm sorry if it. Peppers and onions, man. But I didn't hear the word broken start to get thrown around until 3rd edition came along, at least in reference to Dungeons and Dragons. Broken and build and broken. Your build is broken. Okay, let me see your character sheet. Your build is broken. You're not taking the stunning blow feat and the 5-foot whirlwind feat, and because they stack. And because of a hole in the rules, you can literally just move across the battlefield, And it's because of the design. I don't think the people who designed 5th edition understood 1st edition AD&D, and I don't think a lot of people who came out of the AD&D era really understood AD&D. And I'm saying this. I'm getting on this. I think a lot of folks, said, oh, well, GP for XP is silly. We're not doing that. And then they just plowed on and they played modules and they created encounters out of the monster manual and everything like that. And then said, why have my players got millions and millions of gold pieces? They can just wave their hands and make my adventure plots disappear by throwing money at the problem. Or, by using magic items, or, they said, well, paying to level is silly, or what have you. They removed systems without replacing them with a system that worked just as well. And the problem is, they removed things without understanding why they do that. Now, I used to wrench on cars when I was a little kid. I'd pop the hood of a modern car now, and I don't know what I'm looking at. All right. And if you ask me to work on it and I just start grabbing stuff and removing it, like, oh, this is a computer? Why is there a computer in under the cut? Just take that out. Oh, now it doesn't run, or it doesn't run properly. So I feel like the idea that the game breaks at a certain level, magic users are broken at a certain level, this is broken when you do that, it stems from people who don't apprehend that as loose as AD&D is, it actually fits together pretty tightly. There's not a lot of rules in AD&D, but the ones that there are, they mesh together pretty tightly. And if you're going to go changing stuff, which Wizards of the Coast did, then you better understand what you're changing. Because if you leave AD&D alone and play it just as it's written, guess what? It works really well. It's actually a well-tuned, finely operating precision machine. But it is more fault tolerant, I would say, than later editions. But there's I just feel like when people talk about, oh yeah, this was so broken in AD&D and it got fixed, it's better now. No, it wasn't. You broke it. It wasn't broken. It wasn't broken out of 756 PO Box 756, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. You broke it. Now, if you fix it by putting something that works better for, let's say you just, Dragon's Hordes are now hundreds of gold pieces, not tens of thousands of gold pieces. And characters are no longer paying to level, they learn through experience. That's fine. That's fine. But to go to what's another problem was the whole, well, you've got the geometric fighter and the quadratic magic user. Magic users can do all this incredible stuff at high levels in 3.5, and that's broken. All a fighter can do is swing their sword over and over. Fighter in AD&D can get up to, I think the ultra highest level fighters can get up to 3 attacks in a round? And if they've got a high enough strength and a magic weapon, they're throwing out a lot of damage. And you're like, well, a magic user can guess disintegrate and fireball. That'll stop eventually. That will stop eventually. And then your magic user is just as useless as he was the day you guys got off the turnip cart in the village of Hamlet. Except he's got 10 times the hit points. Maybe. Meanwhile, the fighter is still attacking 3 times around and murdering the faces off of entire roomfuls of goblins. The paladin's got a holy sword. He's basically unbreakable, shields up against magic counterattacks. And you're going, well, I got to wait a day. And then to get all the way up to my 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th level spells, I've got to study for a few hours. So it's going to be 26, 28 hours before I'm useful again. When they fixed the problem in 3E, that's when things started to break. I'm not thinking sideways. Hello, Rosebud Succubus. Welcome. And that's one thing, like, I like to, let's see. Well, I'll scroll back a little bit. I started playing with 3.5 and I played 5 and have gone back and I found I love AD&D way more now that I've gone back and played it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I've never run AD&D for someone and then just come back and say, I hated this. Quite the contrary. I tell players that first edition is a heads-up game. There's not a lot of this. There's not a lot of, let me look, well, I have the complete fighters, whatever, and then this handbook, and then I've got this PDF that I downloaded. So I'm going to be constantly looking through stuff. You're a fighter, swing your sword, or shoot your bow, or throw your spear. You're a magic user. You got a list of spells. Thief abilities are not a skill system that is just exclusive to thieves. And most of that I've got, and I'm rolling anyway. Thief says, I'm going to see if I can find a trap. I'll roll. I'll let you know if you found a trap or not. Nah, you didn't find any traps. Oops, guillotine blade. Or you find a guillotine blade trap. I'm going to disarm it. Did I? No, you didn't, Lefty. It's exactly, John Walker. Don't just throw goblins at high-level fighters. Use synergy, and goblins have friends too. Rosebud says, one good thing that came out of 5e is when they tried to change the OG all months ago. Yes, I guess we can say that. Now, I know it sounds like old man shakes fist at clouds. I get it. But let me break it down for you. I play tested 5e. I have played 5e off and on. I've run a first edition AD&D Ranger in a 5e game. I don't mean the concept of one. I mean, I got a player's handbook. I got the stats by the book, 4d6, discard lowest, arrange to taste, to run a Ranger. And I ran that Ranger in a mid-level 5e game. And the dungeon master was fully understanding that I was getting the bonuses, the damage bonuses against giant kin. That's kobolds, goblins, hobgoblins, orcs, trolls, ogres, ogre magi, all types of giant titans. If it had come to it, you know what I'm talking about. Giant kin, bugbears. If I didn't mention bugbears, but it wasn't a problem. Like, I wasn't overshadowed by other players. Quite the contrary. The fact that I had all the stuff that the Ranger could do, and I didn't have to wait, like, oh, it's your even numbered level up, so now you get another ability. I got all that stuff out of the box. And I wasn't taking feats as my character went. And I had fun with it for the months that I played. 5e is an absolutely flexible game. If somebody said, hey, we don't mind if you house rule it a little bit, but would you mind running 5e? I'd say, okay, here are my house rules. Separate XP charts for everybody. And we're flipping armor classes to the way it makes sense. So I'm not just like old man shakes fist at cloud about 5e. I try not to be that way. So I personally think Wizards had a good little D&D in 5th edition. But I hear people talking about 5e now, and it's like it's a completely different language, and I think they've screwed it to hell and gone. I honestly think they do. One thing I will old man shakes fist at cloud about is the absolute bastardization and butchery of paladins. Paladins are lawful and good. Lawful and good. Did chat crap out? Did I lose you guys? Yeah, exactly. Rosebud, I think you and I are on the same sheet of music. You and I are on the same sheet of music. It's okay, but it's not as good. It's not as good. Not by my standards. So we're having some inclement weather here tonight. Like I've been hearing thunder off in the distance. So if something, if I just drop completely, I apologize. But anyway, that's just my hot take. And I'm not the fun police either. Let me be 110% clear on that. I'm not the fun police. I'm not here to tell you how to have fun. I mean, my fellow grognards, like when I talk about the Jane, the Type 5 demon, I have my fellow grognards just go bonker. I have some of them that are just like so unhappy with the very concept, the very idea that I did that. They're like, well, why don't you just go play 5th edition if you're going to have something like that happen? And I'm like, I think I have Dragon Quest. That's good, LHRPG. Thank you, Nosorian. Yeah, I mean, it's not much of a change. And I'll tell you just about the space is as Yang and I were talking late Sunday night, or maybe it was Saturday night. I don't remember. But he was saying that, well, the Space Hulk box is too brightly colored and it clashes with like the earth tones that you've got going on. And I don't disagree with him, actually. I don't disagree with him. It looks damn good when you walk in the room and you see the 2E Space Hulk box. And I said, you know what? The cover of Space Hulk 3E is way darker. It's like blacks and reds, and the power sword in the sergeant's hand is like the brightest thing on the page, and it's like this aquamarine bluish magic lightning coming off of it. The armor is a darker red. It's much less 90s. And he was like, yeah, we'll put that one up there. And I did. And then before the live stream, I'm like, all right, let's test this out with the lighting and everything. And I looked at the lighting. The UV resistant ultra high gloss color of the 4E box lid is incredibly reflective. It was basically like having a light panel just shining out of the cabinet. Like it was creating a hot spot on the camera lens. So it's like, I can't do this. Because of course, this is me, right? This isn't like someone who says, we should try that out. No, I'm just like, let's go for it. I'm going to do it. So I took everything down and I put I put the 3E set up, and then I put everything back up. You know, I arranged it all nicely, like everything is like you see it now with the 2E miniatures and my Blood Royale game back and everything like that. And then I turned the lights on and turned the camera on and just like, oh my God. And I moved the lights around. And the light panels have already got, they've already got, filters on them. They've already got, soft light filters on them. Right. So I was just like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So I was not super happy about that. So I had to take everything down, swap the boxes around. Because if you guys remember when they were lying down flat and you could see the edges of both of them, the 2E box, the shiny blur that was up there was how things were. Gondor has signaled for 8. Yes, just so, Rosebud. The previous angle, whenever he leaned thoughtfully to his right, that mic muffler, like when I do this, that's another thing that I got for myself. I got a new mic stand. This is the same boom arm as before. Okay, boom arm. But the new one has a basically it has a different clamp system, and it has a pipe about that long that the stem of the old mic arm just slots down into. So it's now like an extra 10 inches up because it was constantly, like, it was impossible or next to impossible to use the monitor. Do I have a copy of Fatal in my library? No, I don't. I can tell you in all honesty, I don't. Okay. In retrospect, I wish I did, because that thing is going to wind up being like so valuable. Like one of the print copies of Fatal is going to wind up being so ridiculously valuable. You know, it's going to be like I don't know, a masterpiece of modern art. Outsider art. That's what I was trying to think of. It's going to be a masterpiece of outsider art. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, Rosebud. We appreciate it. But yeah, now if you see it floating around, it's probably going to cost more. Not because it has any intrinsic value as a game. It doesn't. It's awful. I've been missing some chat. I gotta scroll up. That'll teach me to not pay attention to the chat. And we do have some new folks. I think we're at 4715 now. We are 47. We were at 4714 yesterday, and I was all hype. And then I got up this morning, it was like 4711. So I don't know if it was a bot purge. I don't know if it was some kind of hiccup, or if 3 people were just like, or 4 people were just like, no. But then when I refreshed it this evening, it was at 4715. So I would like to think that that 3 people left, and that 4 people came in to replace them. Supper, good Lord, it's 9:00 at night where you are, Tonka. So who are we talking about here? RPG geek, RPG designer, Byron Hall. I want to look, and yet at the same time, I mean, whatever. Looks like one of the guys that used to come in and buy Nine Inch Nails albums when I worked at Musicland in the Florida Mall back a million years ago. Oh, yeah, and he fits it, too. From the credits of Fatal, Byron Hall, the founder of Fatal Games and author of Fatal, adores gaming and writing. He has been a role-playing gamer since 1980. Byron is taught at Northern Illinois University, where he earned his MA in quantitative research methods and did pre-doctoral work with structural equation modeling. Otherwise, he enjoys dissonant shred guitaring, ancient and medieval literature and history, neuroscience, philosophy, research, and statistics. Fatal Games is the founding company for Fatal, the role-playing game. Fatal Games seeks to distribute role-playing games that are detailed, realistic, and historically/mythologically accurate. Through scholarship, Fatal Games assures the public that information provided in its games seeks historical/mythological accuracy and will be continually updated in efforts to achieve this goal. If you have a suggestion and can support it with scholarly sources, Fatal Games will be happy to review and possibly include your suggestion. Fatal Games, where the dice never lie. Hello, Zachary Melvin. If you would like to try first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Zach, have you watched our live streams? Have you watched our Tuesday 1E AD&D live streams? Because we play. If you'd like to get a feel for it before jumping in, come and watch one of our live streams on Tuesday nights. We start at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard, and we play till 11. I think it's a perfectly cromulent amount of time to play some AD&D. We are currently running through B2, Keep on the Borderlands, using the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition rules, with a couple of minor, just slight minor tweaks. I'd have been in the cool crowd if I had worked at Peaches. Yeah, I know. I wanted a job at Peaches when I was a kid, but I ended up at Musicland. But yes, we play some first edition AD&D, Zachary, and we have a pretty good time doing it too. I think people enjoy it. I throw monsters at the players, and they keep a duck in them. Nobody played AD&D without minor tweaks back in the day. Anyway. Well, and I mean, it's like the afterword says, it is the spirit of the rules, not the letter, which is important. Read through Fatal if you want to tear your own eyes out. No thanks. I've read enough reviews of that thing to never ever want to own a copy. I think this is just such a hilarious load of dreck. I don't know. Maybe one of these nights, Kyle and I can give you guys a dramatic reading that might not get me completely demonetized. What do you guys say? You want us to go hammer and tongs after Fatal one night? Yes, Mike Wilson. Well, I mean, it's the same thing. I was literally right there. Like, if I was still sitting over there and yet sitting here at the same time, I could reach over and poke me in the shoulder. Wouldn't that be weird? It would definitely get us demonetized. Need to do AD&D one-shots, so those of you who can't commit to a regular schedule. Well, I mean, the Discord is there, and if anyone wants to do a D&D meetup, you absolutely can. Thank you, Damien. I appreciate it. Oh, excellent. Excellent. That's great, Zachary. Get some G123 in your collection. If you want a D&D, you're going to want the classic run, the classic run of modules to take a party from first to retirement, assuming the characters survive. The classic run you want is T1, A1 through A4. You can or cannot run Temple of Elemental Evil at your discretion. But then, after that, G1, Steading of the Hill Giant Chief. G2, Glacial Rift of the Frost Giant Jarl. G3, Hall of the Fire Giant King. D1, Descent into the Depths of the Earth. D2, Shrine of the Kutoa. D3, Vault of the Drow. And of course, Q1, Queen of the Demon Web Pits. Now, some dungeon masters like to roll some of the S modules into there. There's nothing wrong with running S4 and WG4 in there, for example. Bob Jester says, never mind Fatal. Do I have Fantasy Wargaming by Bruce Galloway? I had a copy. That's one of those things that's like... Okay, hands up. Who was subscribed to the Science Fiction Book Club back in the day, the Doubleday Science Fiction Book Club? I was, and I know you all were, at least if you're in the U.S. and you were an adolescent. But I've done some Dragon Magazine deep dives, Robert. Okay, so you guys know about... We all had a copy of Dragon Riders of Pern, did we not? Because it was subscribe now, 15 books for a penny, and receive a free copy of Anne McCaffrey's The Dragon Riders of Pern. And, it's that phone book, New York City phone book, thick, but paperback dimensioned copy of Dragon Riders of Pern. Just like that, everybody had a copy. Even if you didn't read it, you owned a copy. And just exactly like Dragon Riders of Pern, everybody had a copy of Fantasy Wargaming by Bruce Galloway. And a lot of times it came through Doubleday Science Fiction Book Club. It was the only RPG book in the Science Fiction Book Club at the time. And that blew my... I'm like, why is TSR not selling their books through these guys? It's strange, Viking Hat, how forgettable it is. I read the first 3 books. I read Moretta, Dragon Lady of Pern. I read a bunch after the big reveal at the end it wasn't a fantasy setting, it was a science fiction setting. Sorry, spoilers. But yeah, little independent details I used to have stuck in my head in my 20s. I just don't. But anyway, the point is, go back to Fantasy Wargaming. It was Dungeon Minister. Pern was everywhere. Fantasy Wargaming was uniquely terrible. It had some interesting bits in it, but it had serious social disadvantages, like left-handed. I remember that being in there. And like, now everybody's, this meme that Gary said women had to be -4 strength. That's a lie, by the way. The women are lesser in the game started in that book. Go grab yourself a copy, because apparently 62 quadrillion of them were printed. They think, you know, in celebration of today, you think the Earth has one moon? No, it has two. One is our moon, and the other one, it is made up of copies of Fantasy Wargaming by Bruce Galloway, which means you can get a copy for really cheap. But it's just, it's so phenomenally bizarre. It's just brain-bendingly awful. It's not a good fantasy. I bought it because, again, I wanted to mine it for ideas. And it should be mined, in that it should be thrown down a mine shaft and then sealed up. It's a terribly not good book. It doesn't dovetail into D&D. It doesn't at all. That's very cool, Zach. Swords and Wizardry complete. We've had Matt on the show, Matt Finch. Lots of people have asked me about Shadow Dark, but I've never. I haven't, you know. They tried to make a movie out of fantasy wargaming. How horrible. No, the only minus in AD&D that female human characters get is their strength tops out at 1850. And Gary said he got so much flack from women about that he never used it, and he wanted it changed in his rendition of second edition, which of course never got published. I've never heard anything about a Dragon Riders of Pern and Dragonlance controversy or anything. I don't see how there could even remotely be one. The Dragons and Dragon Riders of Pern were literally hastily genetically engineered to fight the mycotoxin that literally rained down from a rogue planet that orbited the Pern system in an elliptical orbit, and every so many, however, decades, it would get close enough that its atmosphere would literally be torn and parts of it would fall onto the planet. And the atmosphere of the Red Star is what they called it, was swimming in this mycotoxin, in the spores, basically. Thread, yes. Oh my God, I do remember it. Oh, that's... In years of running Oney, I've only had 3 people argue for the inclusion of the strength limits for women, and they were women. That's it. Fascinating. It's not reality, it's AD&D. Yeah, I mean, back when I like, my wife and her friend were huge into Pern fandom. I think Colleen still got a bunch of like newsletters, Pern fandom newsletters from back in the day. But she they like there was news like back in like 1990, 1991 about, oh, there's going to be a porn movie. So 33 years ago, you know. That's the best call, Viking Hat. Yeah. That is the best call. So listen, I know I keep saying this, but next week I do want to get back to some contentful stuff to bring you guys on Thursday evenings at least, because you know, Monday night, like I said, RPG news roundup as it happens. Tuesday night we play AD&D, and there's really not a, you know, not a lot of preamble stuff I want to do before those. Wednesday night, Kyle calls a tune, and Thursday night's really kind of the open night for content. So I want to start bringing you guys some stuff. Maybe I'll put up a poll on the YouTube community, and you guys can talk about what you want. That Light Main, have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourself. We'll see you. Owlbear mini appreciation time. I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, I've still got some kicking around the office. I had a lot of people like ask. They made. I don't want to say they didn't make pre-orders, because the way I do the print runs that I have sold to you guys in the past is I don't take money until the minis are printed and ready to go, and then I let you know. And I did that with the Owlbear orders because I had orders, and with a bunch of the Warduke miniature prints. And then like I contacted people like on Facebook, like Facebook Messenger, and just radio silence. But I'm sorry, I'm just going and looking. Robert Phillips, I'll settle for a Korra movie. Get Henry Cavill to play Korra. I'll watch it. Take care, John Walker. We'll see you. Yeah, I have some unclaimed at this point. I'll have to go back and look and see what I was charging for a set. But I do have some kicking around. There'll be something 3D printed maybe soonish that I think you guys are gonna want. It's not gonna be inexpensive. I'll tell you that for free. But I think you guys might be interested in it when it happens. But anyhow, what else is there gaming to talk about? Oh, hey, Dungeon Minister, if you're still hanging out there and you're just seeing things, did you see this? Now let me ask it. Would you guys like to see the inn up close? Would you like me to move the inn close to the camera and get a look at it? Well, they're limited runs, Kennick, and I don't want somebody 5 years from now saying, I'll buy one of those because I'm not going to be, here in 5 years. No, I don't know. The old inn. The inn. All right, you guys want to see the inn. This is from Miniature Building Authority. It's made of resin. I have to be careful with this. So I'm going to move around, and I'm going to try and keep it in the light. I can't see, I can't see the camera. I suppose I could work this so I could flip it over, but the resulting disaster would be bad. So I will show you guys the inn. Let me move. I have a few beholders. These are misprinted beholders, by the way. Don't get excited. Don't start sending me messages asking for a beholder print. Oh, look. Owl bears. It's a bit heavy. So here you can see now you might be asking the question, but Bill, is it gameable? Yes, it is. First of all, the roof comes off. You see it right there. And if the roof comes off, well, you can only imagine what happens next. There is an inside. And there is a lower floor. So it is eminently but inconveniently gameable. I say it's inconveniently gameable because everyone has to stand up and lean over to be able to see inside the inn. And then I, as the DM, have to gingerly move minis around or send them scattering. Generally, what I do, if I am using the inn, we're just gonna put it like this, I think, for a while. Oh, it looks rather nice on camera like that. Generally, if I am using the inn, I will have it on the table. If there's stuff happening outside it, then I'll have a separate board set aside, and I use my medieval building set of Dwarven Forge to map out the 2 floors and rooms inside as best I can with that. Now, someone was saying, oh, there's no furniture. I have the medieval building accessories set that has beds and a bar and tables and little bottles and plates and everything. And yes, it's dollhouse furniture. I play with dollhouses when I play D&D. So it is... if I was really dedicated, I put magnets on mini bases and move them around under the table. Well, you know. I said, you know, I should have it facing this way and put a glorious miniature right there. Just something super cool right there. Just standing there tall and proud. Speaking of minis, I had a fun conversation with Paint Minis Live, Bill T over at Paint Minis Live. And if you're watching, Bill, Hello. He is going to paint up some more miniatures for me, specifically some of my Deathwing Terminators, not the ones in the vintage. Is it over here? No, it's over. Yeah, I see it over there. I'm not gonna go get it, but I have some vintage metal Terminator minis, and he's going to paint those up in Deathwing livery for me, which is nice. But yes, so I have all the accoutrements to decorate the inside of the inn. Now, next to it, you might be wondering, what is that? Is I can see a little green there. Is that a tree? That is another piece that I got as another Christmas gift, and that is a graveyard. Do you guys want to see the graveyard? Oh, Mage's Musings, you hit 1,000. Congratulations. That is awesome. Oh, and speaking of awesome, I've been watching the painting of the dragon with rapt attention, and I can hardly wait to get that thing. Oh my God, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'll show you guys the graveyard. Again, these were sitting in nice protected padded boxes, and I was like, why do I not have these out where people can see them? And when I got the new bookcase over here, I said, well, there's no reason not to. So here we go. Much easier to move this one. So there you see, there's a lovely little, a private graveyard, and then it has this tree that goes with it. But of course, the tree, I can use the tree for anything. And I love getting that stuff out, and I love sharing that stuff with both my players and with you guys. And I feel like you're kind of an extended D&D group that I hang out with. Eldest crafted a graveyard of foam core and XPS. Didn't you show that on your channel? I could swear you did, and it looked awesome. Because you guys over at Dungeon Minister Central there do some amazing stuff. The graveyard looks as though it harbors family secrets. Yeah, I think there's an OD&D set in the large crypt over there, as you can see. Do I have arms emerging out of the ground? No, it does not. I must have seen it on social media, Dungeon Minister. It looked damn fine. Yeah, that's the Slain and the AD&D Tuesday nights game graveyard. They stack in graves. You know, they start off with like a 24-foot grave and just use it up, you know, for vertical. Oh, that sounds, I know what you mean, Chris, but that sounds horrible. Do you have any pictures of your child's graveyard, Dungeon Minister? I know what you meant. And I'm pretty sure he did too. But worded like that, it just sounds sad and creepy. Behind there, I actually have a couple of pieces, which if you guys have watched the AD&D live streams from all the way along, you'll know that I have some Dwarven Forge buildings. I have a couple of their little cottages. So there's, you can just kind of see one peeking behind. It's blurry because it's a wide angle lens, but just right there behind the graveyard is one of the two cottages. So, but yeah, you guys have seen those. So yeah, that's some of my cool stuff that I have that I enjoy. Actually, you guys have seen the medieval building set as well, because I used it for the inside of a building in the city of Greyhawk in one of the live stream games. So, yeah, you know, like I said, I like to have fun with that. I like to break that out sometimes. I had once upon a time this grand plan of slowly acquiring more and more of the miniature building. You know what? Let me see. They're not a sponsor or anything, but we can give them a look real quick. So let's see. Let's have a look at what's going on over in the Miniature Building Authority world. Does that sound like fun? Let's check them out. Let's shop. Let's window shop. So here we have it. I have seen a lot of these setups at conventions here. And they have actual minis as well. They used to sell a collection of minis that were the Reaper Townsfolk minis, but painted up and packed up. They were the metal Reaper Town, and that's not a knock, right? That's like, I'm not like, well, they did this. No, not at all. I think that's smart. I think that's very cool. And they've got modern stuff like Iraqi bunker, checkpoint, ruined cottage. I swear, somewhere around here, I have one of their ruined cottages. In fact, I know I have one of their ruined cottages. Let's see. Well, let's go to departments, buildings. Let's see. High adventure buildings. That sound good? There ain't much there. Let's see. Buildings. I think it's the Euro Village buildings is what we're looking for. So there's the graveyard. Ooh, that's gotten a bit more spendy. Dark Age Cottage painted. Yeah, these is a little pricey. These is a little pricey. Ruined townhouse. Now, I used to have, or rather, I used to play the Axis and Allies miniatures, and they're about 15 millimeter scale, give or take. And I actually thought about getting there because for a while, Miniature Building Authority had European villages, and the way they worked was the buildings like came into pieces. Like you could have them normal looking, but if you picked the upper half up, it was jagged. It was like cracked. So you could have like a battlefield, and it was really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, you can, if you've got a 3D printer, you can 3D print this up. If you've got a hot wire cutter and some foam core, you can make this stuff up. But it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Blacksmith shop. bakery, brewery. Well, like the inn, they don't make the inn anymore. They used to have, and like, I don't understand why companies do this, except maybe to create FOMO. They used to have a section of like out of production products. Like, I still to this day regret not spending the $70 on the bag end that they had. They had Bilbo's house at Bag End, and just like the inn, you could take the top off, except it was a lot more convenient. Completely gameable. Beautiful, beautiful piece. And I was always like, I'm going to get this someday. I'm going to get this someday. And I didn't. But you can see, like, this particular one here. That appears to be as big as it gets. Oh no, we can. If you have the means, I don't know what's going on there. If you have the means, it's neat stuff. It really is. Figures. What do they got for miniatures? Medieval figures. Woman and child, man rolling barrel, Mr. Cooper. Baker, merchant and pickpocket. That's actually a cool set of minis for $11. That's not bad. Halfling potion cart. There you go. Halfling weapon seller. These are pretty spiffy. Dwarf blacksmith. Guardsman, rower, basket weaver, some that are clearly not painted. Terrain and accessories. What's it? Oh, castle terrain. Uh-oh. Torture chamber set. Ballista. Stick-on castle doors. But they said, what was it? Fantasy. Okay, what is covered under fantasy terrain? Farmstead. Basically, they just categorized a bunch of stuff and said, "Oh, here you go. Oh, that's kind of cool. Coffin on skull pile." Library set. This is affordable stuff. This is actually not bad. So that's Miniature Building Authority, and they make some pretty slick stuff. But again, you know, they're not a show sponsor or anything. If you want to check them out, it's just miniaturebuildingauthority.com, where you can't buy that anymore. Sorry. You can get the graveyard. You can get a ruined house. Death Angel said, my plan is to build out my basement into a tavern-themed gaming area. Love it. Absolutely love the idea. If I wasn't doing this with my game room, I would go with a theme. I might do something like that. I might try and have a theme as a place to game, but I don't have an IRL gaming group, and I haven't for 7 or 8 years now. Feels like longer. But I still have the table, and when I game with my friends online, I still break out the terrain. I have expensive cameras and a lot of bandwidth to share with them. So I do have a lot of fun. Any other stuff? Any Venger is like obsessed with the barrel mimic. No, anything you guys want to see? Any other stuff you'd like to see or discuss? Let me know. It's all good until the Fire Nation attacks. Now, I have done stuff at events. Of course, I went to GaryCon back in March, and I got my game on there. And this year aside, I do free RPG day at my favorite local game shop. So yeah, I've gotten a few face-to-face game events in. Not many, but some. And it is live, it's just not face-to-face. When is my next painting stream? I don't know. Oh, hey, Ray. You snuck in. How are you, my friend? It's good to see you. I may start throwing a painting stream in on the weekends, because when I cleaned up and when I rearranged things and I moved things around, and talking to Bill, it's Bill at Paint Minis Live who's to blame for this. But now that I have the camera booms and multiple cameras and stuff, I might actually. Would you guys like an occasional, like once every 3 or 4 weeks or something like that on a weekend? Would you guys like to watch me paint minis and just hear me chat? Would you like that? I can do it. By God, I'll do it. You know? Just let me know. Ray, I really you got to get the dice bot working again, Ray. Familiar has been borked for a while. Please, please, please help us get Familiar working. You'll tune in when you paint. All right. Oh, Ray, are you getting into mini painting? That's pretty cool to know. Now, I'll tell you guys a little inside baseball, a little history. I have a company called Guide Key. Is this me, or does it seem like I'm a little like things are a little dark in here right now? Oh, anyway, I have a company called Guide Key, and Guide Key is an organization that I run. And what we do, and you can, it's just guide-key.com. I'll put it up here. You wussing out on us, Dungeon Minister? Is that what's happening? Fine. But guidekey.com is my business, where I will run a corporate D&D event for you, for team building purposes, for morale building purposes, just for something fun that you might like to do with your organization. So if that's something you're interested in doing, reach out to me and let me know. I'll provide all the trimmings, terrain, miniatures, the works. Well, Ray over there, Ray got hooked into a game when I had Amazon as my client. And Ray's a pretty swell guy, and he's a lot of fun. And he joined the Monday night game for a good clip. I think it seems like it was a couple of years you gamed with us, Ray, or am I mistaken? Because we started in 2020. And was it early last year in 2022 when you had to bow out? But Ray's a good guy. But it's good to know that you're doing painting stuff, Ray. It was definitely over. Yeah, you gamed with us. I mean, if we count the White Plume Mountain run, then it was certainly a little more than 2 years. But just in the Monday night game, I think it was about a year and a half. White Plume Mountain is truly amazing, and I'm not going to go get it off the shelf again because I did it the other night. But I have built out of foam core, and Ray got to see it because his group played White Plume Mountain. That's my corporate standard Advanced Dungeons and Dragons module. But I have built the menagerie, like the multi-tiered, the inverted ziggurat that Caraptus warns you of in styrofoam and plexiglass. He seen it. Ray seen it. And then I got miniatures. There were scorpions, there were sea lions, there were manticores, and there were crayfish. I 3D printed the crayfish. I used the Reaper giant scorpions, and although they were really more large scorpions than giant, their bases are like the size of a nickel. And I used the manticores from WizKids, which are it's funny. I slot painted them very quickly, but they came out pretty good. And the crab, yes, the crab was so much fun. We'll see you, Jack Photon. Don't worry, you're not going to miss much. But the crab, I got this from Amazon actually, because there's a metal crab miniature that Reaper makes, but it's like an undead crab. It's very cool. It's got like a hole in its shell, and through the hole you can see like they sculpted a pile of bones in the hole and everything. But one, it was like $22, and two, it would have taken a long time, and three, it was not pre-painted, and I was doing so many other monsters. And when I looked on Amazon, this guy was $5 and it took a day to get here. It took a day to get here, and it's just so cool. And now it's part of the set. It's part of the family. But anyway, it was good, dumb fun, and I think everybody liked it. Like I said, I think Amazon hasn't called me back to do it again, and I doubt they will. But that's life, right? So I think we're just about at the point where I'm kind of stumbling and running out of things to say. Is there anything else? Anything you guys would like to go at all? If there is, speak now or forever hold your peace. I, of course, will be back tomorrow night. We'll have a little bit of preamble, and then at 9:00, we're going to play some Gamma World. The party is deep in the strangely intact Walt Disney World theme park, Magic Kingdom, in post-apocalypse America, fighting off Mickey, Minnie, and Daisy robots bent on their destruction. So you don't want to miss what happens next when we throw down in Disney. No, I'm not. That's one of those. If I had hit the Powerball, which, by the way, congratulations to the winner of the Powerball, which of course was the federal government of the United States. The winner gets about $430 million. The government gets $870 million. That's right. The government gets more of the money than the guy who actually won it. So anyway, the less I say about that, they already fought and destroyed Goofy in the employee tunnels under Disney. No, but if I had won the lottery, I would have. The lottery is a tax on people who are bad at math. You're absolutely right, Ray. It is a tax on people who are bad at math. Yes, they did find Walt's frozen head. It is very alive, and it is attached to a. It is fused to a cybernetic body, not like a person body, like a mechanical, multi-legged mechanical service droid body, and he's begged the party for their assistance in purging the park of malevolent androids bent on killing everyone. See, the emergency protocol that kicked in after the war at the beginning of the Shadow Years reawoke Walt's cryogenically preserved head, and he then activated what the Imagineers had left behind, and had droids completely rebuild the park, because if there's anything the world would need in such a crisis, it would be more happiness. So he's been slowly rebuilding the place. Unfortunately, androids, who are a faction bent on the extermination of humans, came into the park and have seized control of some of the animatronics. Now, the party went in not knowing this and have been attacked by them. Walt led them to Club 33, which it's like a safe room. If you've played Left 4 Dead, you know what I'm talking about. Walt led them to Club 33 and begged them to stop the evil androids and help him make his park the happiest place on Earth again. And that's where we are. That's where we're at. So that's what's going on in the Friday Night Gamma World game. And if you want to see it, if you want to be part of the audience for that, be here tomorrow night at 9:00 or a little bit before. We'll do a little preamble ramble about a half an hour before, and find out what happens next, because it's going to be fun. It's going to be good fun. And then this weekend, I will be doing nothing. Well, I'll be doing something, but I won't be streaming. Monday night, we'll be back with RPG news, updates, a look at the week ahead. Tuesday night, we play First Edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons live for your entertainment. Wednesday, Kyle will be driving. Who knows where we're going to go there. Thursday night, back here. I'll try and come up with something contentful other than, this is cool, look at this. And then Friday night, we'll be playing Gamma World. And then the weekend will come, and I won't do anything. And then the Monday will come, and on and on and on like that, into infinity. Geeky Hoodie just got here, and that totally sounded like Gamma World. That we were talking about Gamma World. That is the Gamma World game we will play tomorrow night. So be here, Geeky Hoodie. I hope to see you. Oh, and hello. Hi. How are you? It is good to see you again. So in conclusion, let me just take a look at the old counterator and give you guys an accurate update. I must say YouTube. Drum roll, please. 4714 on the old subscriber Radaratron. So thank you everyone who has subscribed to the channel. I do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please do click the thumbs up button on the video if you like it. Click the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications about when this stuff is going to go down, because you don't want to miss a thing. But until then, guys, of course, you know that I care about you all, and I want you to have an absolutely stellar rest of your evening. But listen, if you've got the time, if you can keep your eyes peeled, please let me know if you've seen my owl bear. Have you seen my owl bear?
says to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air, have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Make it as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.